Hello. I'd like to say I'm sorry for the microphone quality I had last week, but today's another sad story. A story that I originally planned to make in a collaboration with Make a Wish, but once I add a certain scene, probably not. Probably won't be made in association with Make a Wish. Now, once I make a film, it should be a good one. A bit sad, but so are many other stories. I should also find an IP of which I can license for the movie once I fully make it. But now, without further ado, here's the film. Final Wish. Tony is a middle-aged man, but a new employee at the non-profit organization Foundation. He has worked as a mascot for fictional characters at different parties and birthdays. He has joined the non-profit organization Foundation a month ago to take up as his side gig when he does not have to do his real job. Tony is now at the St. Jolly Hospital, where he is assigned the task to make a ill kid's wish come true. This is his first assignment that he truly has with the non-profit organization Foundation. This time he will be playing a copyrighted IP character whose actor was unable to make the kid's wish come true as the actor was booked up. Tony dresses up as the kid's favorite copyrighted IP character and tries out impressions to sound like the character. Once he's done, he goes to the kid's room. As the kid's room in the hospital, he can find the child is there. He begins by talking to the kid's parents, being aware of the situation that is happening, and what the kid's wish is. The kid says that he wishes for the IP character to be near him for the rest of his life. Tony talks to the kid to say, "That's not a great idea. I cannot be here all the time. I have other boys and girls to help." The kid says, "What do you mean?" Tony says, "Well, there are no other boys and girls out there that can need help other than other people. I'll tell you what, whenever I have the time, I'll be here. And I'll be here as much time as I can be." The kid says, "Okay." So Tony says, "Alright, now, what shall we do? Would you like to play a game?" The kid says, "Let's play a couple water-fire battle game." Tony does not get what this game is, but he still plays the game. He finds that the game is practically a battle royale, just in the lens of a child. They play the game till the night falls low, and once it's late enough, Tony decides that he should tell the child he has to go. As the night is young, he still needs to help all the other kids. So Tony leaves, with a positive smile on his face. The next day arrives, and the kid is in his room, where he is waiting. As the next day arrives, the kid is waiting in his room for his food. The parents decide to stand beside him. He watches his cartoons when a doctor takes his parents out of the room. The doctor then tells the parents, "The time is going low. Our calculations are incorrect. We now suspect that the child only has 6 days left, including today." The mother cries at hearing that. The kid slightly hears them through the other room, through the wall. The father tries to comfort the mother. The mother runs to her house to see if she can find anything to give to the kid before he passes away, so she can make the last few days happy for the child. Tony then gets to the hospital, where he starts suiting up. But he sees the kid seems sad as well. As the kid overheard the doctor And what the doctor had to say earlier, the kid only has 6 days left. Tony tries to cheer the kid up, saying the first thing that came to his mind. Do you know that life is like a pancake? It may be stale, it may be mushy, and tear, but at the end of the day, it's gotta be eaten. It must disappear. Sometimes some pancakes are eaten before all the rest, and disappear before the rest can. The kid isn't so sure about what Tony said, as he doesn't know why his favorite IP character is talking about pancakes, or what this is supposed to be a relation to, but he nods his head in agreement, not fully knowing what he's agreeing to. Tony then thinks about it, and the kid is still thinking. Tony then knows what he said should be at least connectable for the kid to understand, maybe tomorrow. So Tony tells the kid, what shall we do? Should we play on the playground outside? The kid agrees. Let's go outside. Let's play on the playground. So they play till the sun sets, and the kid is fully tuckered out, tired enough to sleep. Tony leaves the hospital. The next day, the mother notices all the kid has ever liked was that one IP character. But she has none of the merchandise, none of them at all, of that character. So she goes to the store to find something to find. Hopefully something of that IP character. To find that all there is just a stuffed animal of the IP character. So she buys it. Not sure whether her child will like it or not. Tony now goes to his normal job, as he has to work. He is sleep deprived from the previous day, and he still hasn't finished most of the paperwork he has for his job. His boss says it is now on his second strike. If Tony gets a third, he will be fired. Going back to the kid in the hospital, the kid seems a bit tired. He seems to be quite ill. The kid's father stays beside him, giving him water, making sure he stays awake, not to sleep too long from how exhausted he is. Tony then goes to the hospital. Once Tony's at the hospital, he then is confronted by the father. The father lectures him that this kid needs all the time he can. So now if he doesn't want Tony to go out and make the kid all tired, for all we know, this kid could have his last word at any moment. Tony sighs and agrees. Tony now is ready to cheer up the kid as he has his IP costume on. So Tony then pitches the idea to the kid. What if they have fun without the kid moving? So Tony puts the kid in the wheelchair, and they do a quick lap around the hospital, running as fast as they can, trying to make sure the kid doesn't fall out on the way of spinning. And so they do. But as they do, the staff try to tell them to slow down. That's not very good for them to do. So then they skip to the room again. Back at the room, Tony then tells the kid, how about we play that game again, that octuple water fire battle game. So they do. And the kid gets tired real early. The next day, Tony arrives back at his job and still does not turn in his work, as he was still thinking about what to do to help the kid. Now at his work, he's on his third strike. He must be fired. Tony tries to defend what he needs to do, as he needs to keep his job. Without this job, he has no way of paying his rent. His boss knows, but he cannot agree with this, as Tony has had 3 strikes already, and I know the policy's there. Tony then decides, fine, he'll leave his work. He's fired, he'll be jobless. Tony goes to the hospital, where he is mad and irritated that he lost his job. That job was paying his rent, his taxes. This side gig won't give him enough money. Tony then, with a frown on his face, tries to keep the kid happy, to cheer the kid up, with frustration in the back of his mind. The parent notices, both of them notice, that Tony is mad. Though he's hiding with a smile, the father can notice. He notices how irritated Tony is. Tony then, trying to cheer the kid up, does a bit of stuff to cheer the kid up as much as he can. When Tony slaps the kid in anger, still mad at what he did, and how he lost his job. Once he notices he hit the kid, Tony runs to the hospital park to calm down. Once there, he runs over to the liquor store to hopefully drown away what had just happened. Drown away what he just did. Forget what he did today. This is the first drink he has had in 2 years. After finishing his drink, he heads to his apartment, or he won't be able to pay his rent, but still should be good. He weeps in his sorrow. Now, the next day, he is found on the parking lot bench of the hospital, where the father of the kid finds him. The father, angered at what Tony did to his son the previous day, punches him. Tony, bleeding out, says, the father telling him that he should explain himself. Tony says he has been fired from his job and won't be able to get the money to pay his rent. The father yells at Tony. Why would he slap his kid just because he can't pay his own rent, because he lost a job? Then the father, angered, then blurts out to Tony, at least complete the rest of my child's wish. So Tony goes back to the hospital, wiping the blood off his face. He dresses up in the costume of the IP character and heads back to the room where he sees the kid. Before Tony can apologize to the kid says that he's sorry. Tony, confused why the child would say he's sorry. Tony tries to tell the kid that it's not his fault, it's Tony's fault. It's Tony's fault himself because he did not mean to hurt the kid, he was just mad. Tony tries to apologize as much as he can, but the kid just says, I'm sorry. So then Tony tries to skip to the next thing. Switch the conversation. And Tony tells the kid, how about we play that game again? Yeah? At least we can have fun doing that. Or maybe some blackjack, maybe some anything else. They even play make-believe as if the IP character that Tony is playing was who he truly is. They laugh and watch some cartoons till the rest of the day, and the night falls. The sun falls. The next day arises. The next day, Tony showers and uses the rest of his apartment that he can use, trying to make sure he can use the best of it till the eviction comes. Once Tony is done, he heads to the hospital to spend the whole day with the kid, cheering him up. When the mother of the child cries and slams her hands against Tony, She still hates Tony for what he did. Tony, agreeing that he shouldn't have done that, still goes up to the room of the child. Once there, he tries to cheer the kid up, as they see that the kid's a bit more weak than before. The kid can still talk, but hardly move. Tony asks the kid if Tony asks the kid how he is. The kid says he's okay. Tony tries to get the kid to cheer up, but the kid stays motionless. The doctor tells Tony that as right now the kid can't move, but the numbing that they were putting into him to make sure he doesn't feel any pain makes it that he can't emote. Tony then tries to see what they can do now. Tony still apologizes to the kid, but the kid won't respond to that with other than he's sorry, because the kid believes it's his fault. And then the kid tells Tony that life is like a pancake. It gets stale, it can be mushy, and tear, and at the end of the day, it's got to be eaten. It must disappear. Someone can be eaten before the rest of the pancakes. That's why you had a bad day. Your pancake got stale. Tony responds, "You remembered what I said. That's nice." The kid says that he gets it too now. Tony responds, "It's the last part of the quote I never like." The kid responds, "But it's true. I have to die, and so do you." Tony responds, "Someday. Someday." The kid says, "Yeah, but my parents are here. They really just want to stay with me all day." Tony knows why the parents are there. They want to stay with the kid for as long as they can. Until tomorrow, until the next day, for as long as they can. Tony says that that without a job, he can do as much as he can for the kid. He'll stay here as long as he can. Tony steps aside for the parents to tell the kid how much they love him. The parents love him so much. They love the kid so much. How sorry they are for all they could ever do to him. How much they love him. The kid's still unable to emote. He then decides that he'll just agree with everything the parents say. So the kid asks Tony if he can put on a movie. And so they do. They put on the movie of the IP character that Tony's dressed as. And they wait until the sun can set. Tony gives the kid a water. The kid says, "I know you're not him." Tony responds, "What do you mean?" The kid responds, "I know you're not that character, that person. He looks different and he's not real. But I like to imagine." The kid then asks, "Who are you? What's your name?" Tony says, "Well, my name is Tony." The kid says, "You don't look like a Tony. You look like a Jerry or a Tom or a Bill." Tony responds, "Well, alright." The kid tells him that he's tired and he wants to sleep. And so the kid does. The kid sleeps. And with the kid sleeping, Tony decides to rest as well. The next day, Tony waking up in the hospital seat beside the kid. He sees the kid can only talk and whisper. And his lack of complex vocabulary can hardly make you tell what the kid's saying. That vocabulary helps neither of them. The kid has a lot to talk about, but he hardly can. So he tries to say as much as he can to the parents of his. He tries to tell his parents as much as he can. But they only ask him a lot of questions and cry a lot. Cry more. They cry more than they did before. They expect the kid to die today, but so far he's still here. The day gets late. It's like evening or something. The parents have their own things to do now, but they think twice. They think twice about it. The mom goes to the bathroom, and the father goes to get a drink of water for the kid. The kid can't talk a lot, but he signals to Tony, trying to get Tony to get over to him. The kid says, "Tony, I think I'm dying. I'm weak, and I feel like I'm sleeping, but I'm not sleepy. Tell my parents that I'm sorry, and I love them. And thank you so much for all the fun." Tony, feeling a sharp pain in his heart, freezes in shock, because he knows what this is. The kid is about to die at any moment. The kid he has cared about this whole week. How could have this been a week? He loved this kid so much. His voice now inaudible. The kid can't talk. He's slowly fading as he sees him. The kid's now about to die at any second. His voice is inaudible. He's fading as he's there. The doctors run the room. The doctors say, "Timmy Walkinson, age 5, time of death, 8:35 p.m., Saturday 11th, died at St. Jolly Hospital." The parents rush into the room after hearing that the doctors run. As the parents are there, they see Tony, still frozen. Tony is frozen in shock. He can't believe this just happened. The parents try to snap Tony out, tell him, "Please, just tell us what happened." He then tells the parents what he can. Still a bit shivering, cold. He doesn't know how to say it. But he tells the parents that Timmy's sorry. He loved them so much. And he wanted to tell me, "Thank you so much for all that fun." For he must have loved that week we spent together. The next day comes. It is the wake and the burial of a jolly soul. Tony heads to this ceremony to see the kid at least one more time, surrounded by Timmy's family, his friends, Timmy's mother, who goes over to Tony to tell him. Timmy's father still tells him that he can stay. Timmy's mother hates Tony. Tony sits through the whole ceremony, even the burial. He then tells the mother why he had to go to this funeral. why he wanted to go. Tony says, "It's because a friend that I may have only known for a week sits and rests, this bright soul, one that made me acknowledge the purpose of life. Is it to enjoy it? Yeah. I enjoyed this time I spent with him. Timmy never stopped his positivity. Even when he couldn't emote, I knew he was happy. Those last few days, and those first few days, he really changed my thought. So that kid is why I'll always be happy. I won't stop being happy. I might be sad now, but keeping his attitude, I'll stay happy for the rest of my life. So if you don't want me here, I won't be here. But I made a promise to Timmy. I told Timmy I'd be here till the last day he's here. I'll be with him all the time, as long as I can. If Timmy was a man, a grown man, Timmy would have been the wisest man he knew. Once Tony stops talking, the mother takes a pause and tells Tony that she forgives him. And so rests that grateful soul to his own park in the clouds, to play his own game for eternity. We can now imagine what it's really like to see that IP character. What it's like to have spending with Tony. You can now think over and over again how much he loved that fun time. And so the movie ends. And we're back. I'd like to say thank you for watching that story. Today's free advertisement goes to Dr. Pepper Cherry. That is my favorite of all the Dr. Pepper flavors. I like that over blackberry and over strawberries and cream. I just find cherry to be the better flavor. Now, since it never ends, let the show begin.